live from the state of Texas, from the Houston Dynamo, Rob Lovejoy. Rob, welcome to Red Card, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me today.
Pleasure's all mine to have you on. Rob, let's talk about the game coming up. Let's forget about that loss, obviously, against San Jose, but now big test coming up. TFC on the weekend, their home opener. They were on the road for 7 straight. Jovinko, Altidore, and Bradley getting ready to take you guys on. How has the coaching staff now got you guys focused and forgetting about that loss against San Jose and focused on TFC right now?
Yeah, we're looking forward to the challenge this weekend. I mean, it's a home opener for you guys, and we're expecting the crowd to be rocking, and we know we're going to have to bring our best if we're going to make it into a game. But like you said, we're going to have a short memory, forget about our loss on Tuesday, and quickly turn this thing around.
Obviously, Rob, a coaching staff has got you guys mentally and physically prepared and getting ready to take on TFC. And I'm pretty sure somewhere in those speeches, the coaching staff has told you guys to really settle things down in the first 15 to 20, 25 minutes to get the crowd out of it, and then things can work its way through the rest of the 90 minutes. Have you heard that from your coaching staff, or have you not?
Yeah, we have. I mean, intensity is something that we focus on as a club and as a team, and that's been the point of emphasis this week, is just bringing the right intensity and mindset from the first whistle and carry that through the 90 minutes, because the soccer game's going to take the full 90, so we're going to be fully prepared for it.
Rob, you're a rookie, first year in MLS, and what a great way to break into MLS with such great veterans on the team. You've got DeMarcus Beasley, you've got Davis, you've got Will Bruin, on and on. This has got to be fantastic for a young guy like yourself, really to absorb and take everything in from veterans and guys that have been through the rigors and the wars of MLS season after season. Talk about it.
Yeah, I can't harp on that enough. I mean, it's a pleasure to go out to training with those guys who you just listed every single day, and I'm just kind of a sponge now. I listen and soak in all the advice that they're giving me and try to implement it to my own game. And it's been a blast learning from them and trying to develop my own individual game as it fits into the Houston Dynamos.
What's been the hardest challenge for you early on, even though it hasn't been, too deep into the season as a rookie? Has it been the travel? Has it been the wear and tear on the mind, less on the body, because you're absorbing and taking in so much week in and week out from different opponents? What has been the biggest challenge for you?
Yeah, there's several adjustments I've had to make so far, but I would say the biggest one is just the style of play. The professional game is obviously a lot different than the college game. It requires you to make faster decisions. You have to be sharper on the ball, and it's a lot more of a thinking game, and that's something that I've taken to heart and continuing to hone in on and develop and try to continue to improve on.
You know, Rob, I've said this many a time, having many of your teammates on my show in the last number of years, and we talked about how MLS has grown in leaps and bounds. You're a U.S. citizen. You grew up and were born in North Carolina, and you've seen now this league take off. And you look at that Pacific Northwest, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, it is lights out crazy like a European atmosphere. You see the atmosphere in Toronto with Jovinko, Orlando with Kaká's taken off. We got the New York City Derby coming up on this weekend. I mean, this is great not only for the American young player out there that wants to play in MLS watching this, but also the Canadian player. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to kind of sit back and watch the league grow. The growth has been explosive over the last decade. I'm just truly honored to be a part of that now, and not taking anything for granted. But it's been fun to play against some of the players you grew up watching on TV, and have the guys of that quality come over here and want to play in the Major League Soccer. So it's been a joy to watch.
Talk about your game, Rob. Is it a game that you like to spread the ball around? Do you like to be more of a defensive midfielder? Are you a guy that really wants to think offense first and D second? Give us an insight on your style of play.
Yeah, first of all, I'm a winger. I can play on the left or the right side. I'm comfortable with either my left or right foot, but I would definitely say I'm more attacking-minded, more of a 1v1 player. I like to get the ball on the line and cut inside for a shot, or beat the defender down the line to whip the ball in for a cross. So that's more of my game, and hopefully I get a chance to showcase that this weekend.
We've seen in the last number of years, Houston Dynamo, to me, are one of the few teams that actually have an identity, actually know what they want to do once the game starts. They have a rhythm. They have an understanding. It's a gritty team. It's a hardworking team, as I've said, Will Bruin, Brad Davis, but it's also a team with magicians, as we saw with Oscar Garcia, with Clark, on and on and on. These are guys that are magicians, so it's a great mix. People know when you're going into their city, like Toronto and other cities, you know what you're going to get. Is this a good thing as a rookie, knowing that there is a real good, solid system in place?
Oh, yeah, it's very comforting. You don't want to play without any idea or identity. You don't want to be a part of a team like that. So to come into a team that is known for its work ethic and intensity on and off the ball, I mean, it's definitely comforting, and to have the quality of players who you've just listed within that system just even adds more. So I think we've got a good mix of both intensity and quality on the ball, and hopefully we can turn some of these close ties or losses into wins.
Rob, I'm watching some of the replays of the last game against San Jose, and I'm looking at your field, and yeah, it's taken a little bit of a beating, but still, I'd play over grass any day over the artificial turf, and I think that's got to be in the minds of many players out there, that they love to play on the real Kentucky grass surfaces over the artificial turf, because the wear and tear on the body, it takes a major toll on it, especially in the long season that you have. Do you obviously prefer grass over the artificial one?
100%. I much prefer the grass. I had a history of some injuries that I had suffered in college that was a result of playing on some artificial turf, so I'm heavily biased towards grass.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, when you played in the NCAA, there's a lot of colleges and universities that have beautiful grass facilities, and then there's some that have the artificial turf that has football lines that really drives me crazy. That's another topic for another day. But I think in the US of A and Canada, it's starting to change, where at the youth level, soccer is taking off in leaps and bounds, and it is getting the respect, and it is getting the funding that it deserves. Have you seen that in and around the Texas area and the Houston area with the youth clubs, that it's growing and growing?
Yeah, obviously I'm new here. Haven't gotten around everywhere yet, but just within the Houston Dynamo organization itself, you can just see the passion that the owners and organizers have behind the club. I mean, we're interacting with the youth teams in preseason, scrimmaging some of them, and integrating some of the players, the more developed players, into our own training sessions. So you just see where this sport is going in this country. We're beginning to model it off of the European model, where you want to tackle player development at a young age, and I think that's very encouraging as this league continues to grow.
You know, Rob, you used the word encouraging. To me, what's encouraging is in the last number of years, the NCAA has been a feeder system to MLS. A friend of mine who I saw on the weekend up here in Toronto, Sashil Sarowski, head coach at University of Maryland, always loves coming back home to Canada, and he himself helped get many players to MLS and develop them to go on for Team USA. This has got to be great, to get groomed, developed, and also get an education in the NCAA like you did, then come and play in MLS with world-class stars like Kaká, Jovinko, Akin, on and on and on. I mean, this has got to be fantastic, and the work that NCAA schools have done has been tremendous.
I would completely agree with that statement. There are some people who are opposed to the system as it is right now, feeding college players into the MLS, because the argument is once you've graduated and if you've taken a fifth year, you're already 23 years old coming out of college and may have missed some of your prime years. But I don't think that is exchangeable for an education of the quality like I received at the University of North Carolina or at Maryland, where Sasha coaches. So it's a trade-off, to say the least, but I would not change the system as it is right now.
Rob, obviously to get to where you're at, it wasn't an easy task. You worked night and day to live the dream that many young men would love to live the dream today, in playing professional soccer, getting paid, traveling, enjoying some of the best restaurants all over North America. But it didn't start just overnight. You had to work at it. Where did you feel that there was a coach or two growing up as a youngster that really believed in you, instilled in you some of the basics and some of the hard work that got to where you're at today? Who were they?
Sure. I would point to two coaches. I was actually severely under-recruited. Nobody was offering me any roster spots coming into college. So my club coach was Elmar Bolowich, who is the current head coach at Creighton University. He coached me for 4 years at club and then 1 year at UNC before he transferred to Creighton to become their head coach. And he was probably the one who instilled that sense of belief in me and made me think that I belonged on the field. He offered me a roster spot on UNC's team as a freshman, and eventually became a starter my sophomore year and never looked back. And then the second coach would be the current UNC head coach, Carlos Simwano. He's a different type of coach, very detail-oriented, but he taught me a perspective of the game that I had never seen before, and I really appreciate everything that both Elmar and Carlos provided me through my development.
Well, Coach Carlos Simwano was on our show actually about a year ago, actually a little bit less than a year ago before the World Cup. Love having him on. We've had him on a couple times. Outstanding man and a guy that really cares about the game. Rob, obviously there had to be some people in your life aside from coaches who made those trips with you, who got up early in the morning, who put that gas in that gas tank to get you from point A to point B. Who were they? Was it a mom? Was it a dad?
Yeah, none other than my parents. They've been extremely supportive all throughout my soccer career. I mean, I can't thank them enough for driving me an hour to and from practice every day for 4 years in high school, and then they were the ones who went to every single away game in my college career, and they were always there through the ups and downs. Even during some of the serious injuries I faced, they were the ones they were my support system. I really relied on them for that support.
Rob, just before we let you go, we really appreciate your time, but I can't let you go before speaking to the youngsters out there. I always ask the players that come on my show to speak to the youngsters. I'm a parent of two boys, one that is in a year and a half left before maybe, if he's good enough, if he's lucky enough to get down to the NCAA. But as you say, you were under-recruited, and I look at my son and many others out there that I feel that are under-recruited, whether it's size, whether it's maybe they don't have that vocal aspect in their game on the field, but they have the rest of the package there. They work hard and they do the things that they're asked. What do you want to say to those youngsters that they need to do and to get to where you're at today? Give us some of your lessons that they can learn from.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to face obstacles, whether it's injuries or anything that might prevent you from playing on the field, size, anything like that, but the one thing that you can control is how hard you work, like you said. I would always encourage, and if I was a coach, I would want to recruit the better kids, the kids who are that work hard on the field as well as they do in the classroom, and I would recruit the kid for their personality. So I would say that hard work is always rewarded in the end.
Rob, outstanding having you on. Wish you nothing but success the rest of the way. Not too much success when you come here to Toronto on the weekend because it's the home opener, but the rest of the way, good luck to you, young man, and stay focused at the job at hand, and I'm pretty sure we'll hear about you a lot before this season is out in MLS. Rob Lovejoy of the Houston Dynamo, thanks again for taking time out of your busy schedule, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure's all mine. Rob Lovejoy of the Houston Dynamo will take a